Calling the meeting to order, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Judy-Ann, would you please do the roll call?
Sir. Yes. Councillor Phillips?
Here.
Councillor Horning?
Here.
Councillor Frank? Mayor Barber?
Here.
Councillor Montero?
Present.
Councillor Posowski?
Here.
Council President Wright?
Here.
Thank you, Judy-Ann. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as circulated.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, the same. That motion carries. I think very fittingly, this is Constitution Week. It's been a lot in the news, and Councilor David Pozalski is going to read the proclamation.
We're operating this up.
Thank you, Mayor.
We need to announce
Great
that.
staff.
Proclamation, whereas September 17th, 2021 marks the 234th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention, and whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designating September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week. Now therefore, I, Jay Barber, Mayor of the City of Seaside in the state of Oregon, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th to 23rd, 2021 as Constitution Week, and ask that all citizens to reaffirm the ideals the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through this guardian of our liberties, remembering that those lost rights may never be regained. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Seaside to be affixed this 13th day of September, 2021.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor, I have a point of order.
Sure.
Are we not live streaming tonight?
I am currently trying to get that fixed with John right now.
So it's not working, but we're trying to get it fixed?
I'm trying to get it fixed right now,
Great.
correct.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We're a little shorthanded, but thank you for filling in for us tonight. At this point, I'm going to begin to open the floor to comments from the public. The microphone right there in the center of the room is there for your convenience. If you have something that is not on the agenda that you'd like to address the council about, please step to the mic, identify yourself and your address, and keep your comments to within 4 minutes. As you're getting ready to do that, I do want to let the public know that the council has received a number of written communications about issues that are not on the agenda tonight. I want to let you know that all the councilors have received those. They have been read and noted. They will be in the minutes of our meeting tonight and will be posted on our website when the minutes are approved. So we want you to know if you've sent a written communication to us, they have been read and noted and will be a part of our future decision making. Ma'am, welcome, and please give us your name and your address.
11th Avenue in Seaside, and I have been harassed all week by Mr. Polsowski on Facebook for my comments regarding Hood to Coast. I'm here to ask you to please reconsider the contract with them. The reason being, do you all have these pictures here?
Yes, that came to us.
Okay, I put those together today. Pictures 1 and 2 show that 90% of the people in those pictures had no masks and were not social distancing. 3 through 7 show that although they said they were not going to have vendors, they did indeed have vendors on the beach. And again, no social distancing. 8 through 10 was another example of social distancing during the party that they also said they would not have in view of COVID restrictions. I believe that these things violated Section 9 of your contract of policies. I could be incorrect. However, I would like the council to please take a look at Section 9 of the contract with Hood to Coast and determine whether it would be appropriate to ask for arbitration to discuss that matter. They said that they would not have a party and that they would social distance, and they also said that they would keep the COVID restrictions put together by the state and the various health departments to very seriously, and my feeling is they did not, and I represent a great number of people in the county. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your comments. I will just add that we will be having the representatives of Hood to Coast here to the meeting in a very future meeting. I don't know when.
Allow me to assure you they won't tell you the truth.
And ma'am, please let me talk.
Excuse me.
And we will have an opportunity to ask them some of the questions that you've raised and clarify for the public some of the issues. But thank you so much for your concern. I'm sorry for the harassment that you're experiencing.
Absolutely. I had no idea he was a city councilor. I was going to call the police because his harassment was serious. Thank you.
Okay. Other public comments? Yes, sir.
Hi, Carl Shore, 445 12th Avenue. I want to address the city's illegal RV park on 11th, between 11th and 10th. First of all, I need to differentiate. I'm sorry, can you hear me okay?
If you can get a little closer to the mic, it would help.
Okay,
And if
well-
you need to raise it up a little bit, you can do that.
That's okay, I can lean down.
Okay.
Technical issues.
You are tall.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Is this better?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, I want to differentiate between homeless people and RV folks. There is nothing, including your House Bill 3115, that protects RVs parked illegally. Per the city code, all of the 6 people or 6 vehicles living on site are considered junk. They're unlicensed or their license has run out. Most of them are unlicensed, however. You violate the policy in your public sewers. They're dumping sewage on property in the streams, as well as using the bathroom in the park there. We feel that virtually nothing has been done. We recognize the good work of the police who have chased out some people on the cove, who have chased out some people parking. But let's face it, this RV issue was a problem way before the pandemic. It will be a problem long after the pandemic. And the city's basically allowing this to happen is going to create even worse problems in the future. We would like, and when I say we, there was a small group, there are a few of them here, but it's time that we got organized and represented against the city council who seems to be indifferent to the needs of the folks on the north side of Seaside. We're going to take care of that too. So we would like to see an action plan from the city of how you are going to address what was called in the Southwest boondockers. And this is a persistent problem. It has nothing to do with homelessness or little. Most of these people are not Seaside or even Clatsop County residents. They simply chose to come here like everyone else because the summer is a nice time to be here. So thank you.
Thank you. Other comments? Now we'll need to lower the microphone.
Well, I think I speak loud enough.
She'll lower it for you.
My name's Dorothy Lear, and I live at 470 11th Avenue. And I feel this trailer park is bringing down the value of my property. And I called the tax assessor, and he says, it's a temporary thing. Well, this doesn't seem very temporary to me. And it's an eyesore. And I'm very concerned about what they're doing with their garbage, their sewage, because there's no sewage dump over there or anything. And I would like to see this gone. There's a car that's been parked outside of my house now for a week, and it hasn't moved. And I'd appreciate it if something was done about this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Others? Good.
My name is Noble Hutchinson. I live at 2472 Pine Street. My comment also is on the homeless. I'm just more of a concerned citizen and a taxpayer and resident of Seaside. And this is going to drive our property tax. One of my friends who works for the post office, because of that homeless camp between 10th and 11th, his buyer that was just on the verge of buying, when the sale of the house didn't go through, they didn't do the appraisal, he found out about the homeless camp, and the sale was terminated. And I, as well as other people, I don't think this is a temporary situation as far as the homeless is concerned. And we're making it so easy for them to just squat on our public land here. And a lot of people, they even haven't seen what's happening behind the city shops all the way to Microtel. This is a growing problem that needs to be squashed somehow. And I also see that, I also don't believe a lot of these people are Seaside residents. They're coming from other areas. Anyway, I would like to see something done about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Rob Lear, and I live with Dorothy Lear on 470 11th Avenue. And those homeless people are setting up tents to go and leave their stuff out underneath or to sit out under. They leave garbage underneath their trailers, and then every now and then they'll take a bag over to the city park and throw it in the garbage cans there. So the garbage cans are heaped to the top, and no more trash can even be thrown in them. I get up early to walk my dog. I have never seen them go over to the city park with something to dump their waste. And so I'm wondering where it's going, because they should be getting up when the city comes out and opens the bathrooms to dump their waste. And I've never seen them go over there to do it. So they got to be dumping it somewhere.
Thank you. Any other comments? Yes, sir.
I'm Robert Clark. I live on 128 6th Avenue. We all came here early spring and saw most of you here, and got a lot of nodding that you would be doing things, and it looks like just like normal, nothing's being done. It's actually got worse. So what do we have to do? Replace you or get new people in here to get some action? Because we're not getting anything. It's worse than it was.
Thank you. Any other comments? This issue will be on an October agenda with some of our plans and proposals to deal not only with that site, but other places here in Seaside. I know it doesn't seem so, but we are diligently working on these problems within the whole issues of law to protect both the housed people and the unhoused, and it's a real challenge that we're dealing with. If you've got ideas on how to resolve this within the law, we would be glad to hear them. Okay, any other comments on any other issue regarding anything not on the agenda tonight? Thank you all for coming. We appreciate your hearing from you. And with that, I'll close that part of our meeting. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Dana. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries.
You forgot declare conflict
Oh,
of
thank
interest.
you. Does any counselor need to declare a potential conflict of interest on any item on the agenda?
No.
I hear none. Thank you. Thank you, Dana. Reports and presentations. Chief, come and speak to us from here. That's good. Chief Daniels, thank you.
Thank you, Council. Mayor and Council, let me do this presentation. Well, tonight I was going to introduce a couple of our staff, but they decided to go help in wildfires. So that'll get pushed off till October.
Give us an update on that when you're done.
And I will. But I did want to address some stuff that we received in the last couple months, and we've kind of missed stuff, and I think it's important. One was a donation from the Providence Foundation, Seaside Providence Foundation, of a little over $15,000 to give us another Lucas device, and we demonstrated that in front of you guys last year. It helps us do CPR. So that means we have one in each engine, and just a couple months ago, we actually had both of them out at the same time.
Wow.
But we've also used them in the Providence ER. They've asked for us to come up there, and it just helps them, and it does compressions, and it eliminates having a lot of people in a room, especially with the day and age of COVID. So it limits our staff from getting exposed, and also allows other staff to start different things to
Wonderful
help
gift.
longevity. So we do want to thank them and get that out there. Another one is to let you guys know that we did a joint grant, AFG grant through the feds. Chief Rackman down in Cannon Beach actually applied for it, and we all went into together, Warrenton, Cannon Beach, Seaside, and Gerhardt. And then we wrote a grant for Hamlet and Elsie, and then there's one in the North County. We had to split it up due to funding. We were maxing out the funding. So luckily enough, we've received ours. We're kind of waiting to hope the whole county does. It's for radio replacement of all of our portable and mobile radios to update them. So for us, definitely is going to be a great thing because it's $174,000 and we have to pay an $8,000 match. So it's a lot of equipment, and hopefully we're going to also help with the PD and they can hop on, get what we're getting so we can program and everything. So that's our plan, is that us, police and fire, have the same radio equipment, and our guys do a lot of the programming. So that
Chief,
was one.
Chief, could you move the microphone right over? I think people in the audience are having trouble. Okay.
Never had anybody say that I was quiet, but so that's for that grant, and we hope to go through those radios sometime this fiscal year. But again, we're waiting to make sure that hopefully the north end of the county gets theirs, and that's the third one we're waiting for. And then we'll work together of trying to get the same radios countywide.
Nice to be on the same frequencies on the same radios.
Well, just the same radio type, so we can try to get the best bang for the dollar we get. So if we all order the same radio, it's a lot of radios and equipment, and try to get the best value. So another one we put in this past spring was for the Volunteer Fire Assistance Grant, which is VFA through the Oregon Department of Forestry. And it allows for smaller rural departments to get grants for wildland gear. We've got that in the past. This one we put in for radios. They're called Bendix King radios. They're programmable on the fly. And it's what we use in the wildland setting. So they fully funded 4. It's about $6,800. And then what we have to do is you have 2 choices. You can pay your match or you can do in kind. So we have to show training hours and stuff of use with the volunteers and the staff. And that's what we chose to do, is do in kind. and we meet enough hours for all of our staff doing it. So that grant and hopefully those equipment slowly rolling in. It just takes, as you guys know, months and months and months to get anything right now. So that's it for the grant donations. We did have our open house Saturday. It was kind of a lot of confusion. I'm sorry for that because we were trying to, the health department actually came the day before to actually let us know if we could have it. So we were trying to push it out, but not trying to push it out. That all got granted that night before. And so it went well, I think. It was well attended. We appreciate people coming. We were really diligent on the mass, and the Fire Association did free hot dogs and hamburgers to the public to say thank you. And just to get out there, because it's been probably a year and a half where we could actually deal with the public or be with the public. So I thought that was a good turnout. And again, we apologize if people missed it, just because we didn't keep flooding it out there because we didn't know that fast. So at the same time we were planning for that, we got asked last Wednesday to deploy to Lakeview. That's round number 4 for us to Lakeview this year for different fires. So that crew's still down there. They sent some home task forces, but our classic task force 49 must be doing pretty well because they keep them. I've talked to them daily and give our fire chiefs in the county an update daily of how they're doing, and they're doing real well. They're currently working with forestry personnel to try to get into more of the seat of the fire and lay a lot of hose line around it so they can try to wrap that up and get the structural crews back home.
How many are in the crew from here?
We have 4 out of Seaside.
4.
One of them was Adam, who was going to come tonight to present to you guys as one of our new employees.
Yeah.
So
It's a way to introduce him.
right, and he fortunately did lifeguarding for us all summer, even though he was hired for the fire department in July. But we were really short-handed this year, so he just said, "Hey, Chief, I'll do lifeguarding, and that's will be my shift." And I really thanked him for that because we all had to do it, but that was his full-time shift, just to fill them. Now to go back to the lifeguards, they were well attended, and I will have when they introduce the new staff, I will also we had an award that was given out. I'm not going to get too much into it, but one of our lifeguards actually applied a tourniquet on a shark attack we had a while back and was put in for an award about a year ago. And we received that award. We just couldn't get a hold of the lifeguard because she had moved. And so she had opted to take a picture with the staff. That's what she wants to do with the medal she received. And I'll present that for you guys.
Wonderful.
A picture when we introduce. But that was she did a good job applying the tourniquet and stuff that our guys are all taught, even our seasoned lifeguards, and obviously our lifeguard program helps outside of lifeguarding. So,
Good.
But the lifeguard being done on Labor Day, the 6th, just be real cautious. I just want to put a warning out there. We had 2 child injuries this past Saturday afternoon. One was rolled up by a log and playing on the logs in the water. We try to, say that's a big no-no, but we had a child that was rolled up, then might have been under the water even at one point. We're unsure, but that person was life-flighted to Portland later. And right after that, we had another child that was injured on the beach and was taken, or in the aquarium area, was taken to trauma system to Astoria too. So we just want to make sure everybody understands that we don't have any lifeguards on the beach, but you still got to be safe. We're starting to get the weather and we'll get the higher surf something coming in, and the ocean still is a very dangerous place to go, especially with the logs coming up and rolling in. It seems to be that's what we're getting now, and as the water comes in. But the tower's down, the semaphores are down. So I want to thank Public Works because they do that every year. I just saw them down there today. So any questions anybody has for the grants? I just wanted to give an update before we went another year. So.
Great. I thought the open house went very well. It's good to see all the equipment out and interacting. And the hamburgers were pretty good too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And hot dogs. It was good.
I enjoyed it.
I'm sorry I
That's good.
missed it, but I sure buy a T-shirt or sweatshirt, so.
So, I know, I'm just forgetting these things. So they are going to go online at seasidefire.com.
Okay, great.
They're doing an online store, and basically they can ship it straight to your house. You push a button, you give your address, and there's I don't mail a lot, but there's pre-fillable boxes, I guess. And they'll send it to you. So some people are using
Is
this.
that online now, or is it?
I think it starts Wednesday. I think
Okay.
they're going to put it fully online Wednesday. So.
Wonderful. Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Chief.
Welcome.
You know, as I commemorated with all the rest of you the 9/11 20th anniversary, I thought again of the 320 plus first responders who gave their lives in that event, and caused me to be thankful for our first responders here, both fire and police and EMTs. We really owe our lives to them and their willingness to go into danger rather than to run away from it. So that was a stark reminder again at this 20th anniversary. So thank you again, both of you. Thank you. Unfinished business, we have some vacancies on one of our committees and one of our boards. The Airport Advisory Committee has one vacancy currently, and so we're looking for someone who would be willing to apply for that. They don't necessarily have to be a pilot, but interested in really kind of overseeing the airport and making sure that it continues to operate efficiently. The other one is our City Tree Board, which looks after our heritage trees and really maintains our status as a national tree city, which has been one of Mayor Larson's real passions when he served as mayor. So please get the word out that we need people to apply, and they can get those applications here at City Hall. Under new business, we have a liquor license application from Riley's Restaurant and Lounge. Phoebe, would you like to come up, and we may have some questions for you. Thank you for coming. Tell us a little bit about what's happening at Riley's.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to help them to learn the business, but I'm not the owner yet. Yeah, because I need to apply for the OLCC and Oregon Lottery first. Yeah.
Doing that first?
Yes.
And then you are going to become the owner?
Yes.
This has been in your family for how long?
Actually, they are not my family, but they are my friends, and
Yeah,
then
okay.
they know my family for a long time.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Well, it's
I'm
kind of a
just-
landmark here in Seaside.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they have that business for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
good.
then, yes.
So this is eventually a change of ownership, and you'll be involved with that.
Yes,
So-
and they are still helping me, yeah.
Good.
And
Good.
everything is, nothing changed. The menu is the same, everything is the same.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Good.
And our police department did a review of your application and found no problems. So unless any other counselors have a question or comment, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the liquor license application for Riley's Restaurant and Lounge.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Any further comments before we vote? Thank you, Phoebe, for
Okay,
coming
thank you so
tonight.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion carries. Then, additional vacancies, one for the Parks Advisory Committee. And under the Convention Center Commission, we have 3 vacancies. Sean Wagner has indicated his willingness to sign up for another term. Patrick Duchek and Jeff Kilday have indicated they do not want to continue to run. Do you have any comments on that?
Yes,
Dana?
I can't even imagine. Jeff has been on there for over 25 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And publicly, I'd like to invite, I know Russ has told me, they are having a reception for them at the second Thursday of October, 5 o'clock at the Convention Center, to thank them both. But how long has Patrick been on there?
I
5 years?
believe he's been on there
maybe 8 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say two
But
terms.
Jeff has
Good.
been in over 25 years.
Good.
So, yes, so please plan on coming.
Good. Russ, if you would have one of your staff send us a reminder of that so we can get that on our calendars. We definitely would want to be there.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll entertain a motion to reappoint or extend Sean Wagner's term.
I so move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. I did want to indicate that the reason that we have a Parks Advisory Committee opening, Matt Stolberg, who has served so faithfully because of a housing issue, had to move out of the area. He extended his time under our policy for at least 6 months and is indicating that it doesn't look like he's going to be able to move back to Seaside soon. I've told Matt, when he comes back, we have
That's
a
right.
place for him.
He was
He's gonna-
actually on the Transportation Committee
Transportation
too, so we're gonna miss him
Yeah, that's right,
there
on the
as well.
Transportation Advisory as well.
Yeah.
So that leaves us an opening, one opening on the Transportation Advisory Commission as well.
So but that's not listed on our agenda, so, oh, yes, it is.
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
there, under
Yep.
the, yeah, under vacancies, yeah. Okay,
So one of the things actually is that due to the lack of housing in our city, we're losing two very good and effective commissioners and creating vacancies on 4 of our committees and commissions.
yeah.
And
That
I
kind
think
of
that's-
underscores the challenge, doesn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Housing is a major problem. Okay, that brings us to the end of our business agenda. Russ, it's nice to have you standing in. You look very city attorney-ish over there.
I make no claim to be anything related to the law or.
But you're standing in for Mark, I know, who's out.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. And the only comment I would have is just to acknowledge that we do have the Gideons coming into our facility starting on the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of this week.
Oh,
So
good.
we're welcoming that group back into our facility. But
Good.
no other comment.
Good, good. Judy Ann? And I cannot remember
Jordan.
It's Jordan.
Jordan. Thank you.
Update the council. I talked to John. He says it's recording on a server. So as soon as him or Kim get back, it'll be updated to YouTube since we're having all these technical difficulties right now.
Okay.
Thank you, Jordan.
Okay, thanks for, Jordan, for trying to bird dog that. Chief?
Just wanted to kind of update you on a couple things. One of the things is that we have an officer back from the academy, Johnson. They had a little bit of a COVID breakout apparently in his class, so he's been back for a few weeks. We expect him to be heading back here in a couple of weeks, but he's on a little bit of a hiatus from the training at the DPSST. However,
too
he's
bad.
in full training with us still, so we're he's not just sitting around doing nothing. We're working him. CSOs seems to have had a pretty good summer. We've been enjoying having the community service officer back on. We are in the middle of a shift change right now where we're seeing Detective Barnes, who is a school resource officer, coming out of the schools. He went to a night shift, and then we've got SRO Officer Gagnon that's moved into the schools. So we're excited about having him up there, and then Jess Vaughn's coming out of patrol and moving into a detective position. So we got a little bit of internal movement going on. We're excited about seeing where those things are going to take us. Other than that, nothing else much going on. Thanks for having me.
Good. Thank you very much.
Chief.
Jeff, Joey, anything more you want to add?
I'm good, thanks.
Okay. Council members, David, I'll start with you down at that end.
Sure. As described by Mrs. Ray earlier regarding Hood to Coast, I decided to do a little investigating and a little digging so that I could get some clarity around the issues that had been brought up online regarding that situation. We did distribute and make available a copy of the city agreement with Hood to Coast. It was done in 2018. There were no updates since then that would have addressed any COVID issues. We are not under a state of emergency, therefore there is no reason for us to have added additional regulations beyond what the state had put into place for their agreement with Hood to Coast. Another issue that was brought up was regarding the masking, as was pointed out in the pictures. I went to the temporary administrative order from the state of Oregon describing what is required under the new masking mandate. Under that masking mandate, it says that a person responsible for an outdoor space must post signs at every entrance to the outdoor space that masks, face coverings, or face shields are required as described in this rule. The organizer of an event or gathering in an outdoor space must ensure that employees, contractors, and volunteers comply with this rule during the event or gathering, and post signs at every entrance to the event or gathering that masks, face coverings, or face shields are required as described in the rule if they are not already posted. So there is nothing further in the order requiring enforcement at any outdoor event.
Yeah.
So therefore, the requirement that they enforce it. I also called and spoke with the district manager of state parks who issued the agreement. They consulted with the county health department regarding the event. The county health department had no additional comment as to additional things that needed to be done by Hood to Coast for this event to occur. So there's been a lot of rumors or talking online that there were rules broken, they didn't meet agreements, they didn't follow through with what they were supposed to do. Based on the information that I was able to find, I don't see any of that.
Good. I was also told by Dan Floyd, who is the general manager, that at the start up on Mount Hood, they actually kicked out 12 teams who refused to mask at the starting. And when you're kicked out of the Hood to Coast, that's a permanent kick out. You don't ever get to come back. So that's a drastic measure. And so the requirement that they had was that at the beginning, you wear a mask, and when you finish, you're wearing a mask.
And the participants were told at exchanges they needed to wear them and that, but they're in the mandate from the state, there is no requirement for enforcement at outdoor events.
Yeah. Good. Well, thanks for those clarifications, and we'll be hearing more when Mr. Floyd comes to speak to us at the council, and the community will know about that when that happens.
The one additional point I wanted to make is there was a lot of conversation that the reason that they are allowed here is because of the money involved that Hood to Coast pays the city. As seen in the city agreement for this year, Hood to Coast is paying the city $28,940.63 for additional services that are required of our public service, officers, or,
No, that's in addition to.
Yeah.
In addition to, right?
That's
If
the
we
grant.
charge.
Yeah.
So if you look at our entire budget, that is 0.1% of our city budget.
Yeah.
It is not a deciding factor on things that happen. And I will remind the public that everybody on this council is a volunteer. We are not paid. We are not compensated for the time that is given here.
No, I'm often reminded of that. Thank you. Thank you, David, for looking into that.
Yeah.
Tom, it's your end of the table.
Well, I would like to say that I am concerned, based on the comments from the city, the voters who've shown up, to be concerned about the lack of masking at the race on the beach. I'm sure that we can come up with a compromise that would maybe have enforcement or something like that over and above what maybe the state would require. But that's to be decided.
Hopefully next year that won't be a problem.
Hopefully it won't be a problem, exactly. I also wanted to just say how much it means to me that the first responders who lost their lives at the World Trade Center really put it on the line. And I want to acknowledge everybody who's in the business for similar sacrifices and degrees of sacrifice.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was a quiet weekend.
Yeah, good. Beautiful weekend. Yeah. Thank you, Tom. Dana.
I'd like to make a comment. Sir, I forgot your name. I'm sorry. I want you to understand, from my personal standpoint, that to be stated that we're indifferent to what's happening. Oh, good God, no. That was one of the first things that was out of town. And so when I came in and I saw what was happening over on Nicanicum, I was aghast because our hardworking taxpayers that live there and the children that are supposed to be able to play in that playground with what is happening over there is inexcusable. I'm sorry. That's my opinion. I'm not indifferent, and I'm going to be fighting because I don't like what is happening in our community. I refuse to have it look like Portland.
Thank you, Dana. Tita.
I'm going to talk a little bit about the Hood to Coast issue first. I was tracking the Facebook page that has been quoted and that had a lot of complaints and compliments. And there were actually two different pages. There was one from the Hood to Coast group, and there was David, I can't remember the name of the other one.
It's the Clatsop County.
Clatsop County Scanner.
Scanner,
yes.
Uncensored, yep.
Right. And the first thing I have to say is that I was really pleased to see that David was responding to some things. We are all very aware of how this event affects the community, and we are all very aware that there are a variety of opinions about the event and all things having to do with the event. I can say that as I read things there, I read a lot of things that people purported to be true that I knew for a fact were not true. So that puts that in the realm of rumors. I have asked every year for Hood to Coast to provide that 800 number, and it took several years before they did. It is in the contract. I will have some ideas for them how to better advertise that 800 number. I also think that people who are seeing things that they don't think are the right actions and the right things to do need to be aware of that policy, that the runners team, not just the runner, but the whole runners team will be banned permanently from running in this race if it is found that the accusation is true. And there's a way to find out or know about accusations, and that is you see it happen, you take a picture of it, you send the picture. You hear it from somebody else. If it didn't happen to you, you cannot purport it to be true because that's not first person. But if you see it happen and it actually happens to you, then I think that's, if it was me, I'd be taking a picture. So that's one way to dispel rumors. What people fail to see is, I don't care how you feel, positive or negative, about Hood to Coast, Hood to Coast is actually a world-class event, as world-class as the Boston Marathon, as the New York Marathon, as any of those other large races and events that we see happen throughout the world. We know that wherever you go, 5 to 10% of the people don't follow the rules and don't do what they're supposed to do. But that's not a reason to condemn everything. And so that's where I would like to make sure that we all come at this calmly, without accusations. And I'm going to say right here, I read everything that I read on that page. I would not characterize one thing that David said as harassing.
Thank you.
And I feel that from my perspective of reading what was there, that was not that was an incorrect accusation.
Thank you.
So, I thought you were very measured. I thought that you responded well to things. Okay, that's Hood to Coast. I'll have more to say to them when they come. The other thing has to do with the 12th and Mechanicum. Whether it's Hood to Coast or it's the other comments, I really, really am disappointed that people who come to the city council and register their complaints do not stay for the whole meeting till the end, which is our opportunity to give you our points of view, to give you some more facts, to sort of to engage somewhat. We can't engage directly. And it's kind of like throwing a bomb in the middle of the room and walking away. I give people the courtesy, we all give people the courtesy of listening to everything that's said with impartiality. And I think if someone has a complaint, they should be, I think they should be staying to listen to what we have to say as well. We have been working on issues. The police department, the public works department, a lot of different departments. Do I like what that looks like there? No, it's part of my neighborhood. Do I know some of the things that are going to are required by the state laws? Yes. We had forums. We had 5 forums. And people didn't come to those forums and speak their piece or listen to the information that was being put out. Now, that's not to say that they're bad or they're wrong. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. I wouldn't like a car being parked in front of my house for days and days. I will tell you, I personally drive by that area quite a few times every day. I personally drive by every single night between 11:30 p.m. and 1 a.m. just so I can see what is happening in the middle of the night. Because I think what happens in the middle of the night is just as important. Another observation that I think we must all have is the whole parking, the whole lane of Mechanicum. Anyone who's parked there during the day, there is not one thing that says you can't park there during the day. If somebody's there parked during the day, there isn't anything that says you can't park here. So until it's the nighttime and somebody's parked there, I can't say you're doing something wrong. I also think that our police department, our public works department, they do need more guidelines. They do need to know what the city council expects of them. They need to know what the ordinances are. We know that our ordinances, according to both the 9th District Court and according to Oregon state law, are not correct. And that's one of the things we're working on. We're also working on ideas, strategies, pulling some information and strategies together so that the council can look at what can we implement that is going to be it's going to be legal, first of all, and it's going to be for the benefit of the whole community. I think that there are a lot of assumptions being made. I think that on both parts, on all parts. And it's something that is not being ignored. And for people to think it is, all you have to do is go to the city website or the city YouTube page and start looking at some of the meetings that have been recorded that are taking place. That might perk up some ideas. And certainly sending your thoughts, ideas, etc., because constructive criticism always goes further, but sending those to the city council through our website is a way to be involved and is a way to be part of the solution. That's it.
Thank you, Tita. Council President Steve?
One sad note to, you all know Bill Carpenter, his wife Janice passed away this morning after a comparatively short illness. So Bill knows all of our condolences and thoughts are for him. I wanted to make note there are actually 5 committees with 6 vacancies. That's probably the most I've seen in a long time. So we need to get out there and beat the bushes and find people to fill those. We did have an event down on the beach this weekend that was not nearly as crowded as Hood to Coast was, but we did have 570 visitors over 2 days. And the weather certainly helped. It was a great weekend. I wanted to especially give kudos to our new fire marshal, Genesee Dennis. And he really, in order to keep the area safe, went above and beyond to clear the area and get the okays and work it out with particularly Jeremy, our street foreman, clearing that area. And it made it look really professional down there. So it's just another example. And I told everybody when they came down and said, wow, this looks great. It was our fire department, our public works department working together, unlike a lot of other cities around here. And a chief, something you mentioned, the people having problems in the surf. All of our salt makers, when they went out with their yoke to pull the 2 pails of salt water, were accompanied every time. Looked kind of odd, one guy with a yoke with 2 heavy pails, and another guy just kind of walking along beside him. But they were being safe. And you're right, the surf was really high Saturday afternoon in particular. That's all I got.
Well, thank you for the comments. I really don't have a lot to add other than to say, right now, as the mayor of Seaside, the issue that is keeping me up at night is how to deal with the homeless issue in our community. The only solace that I find is that I talk to other mayors on a regular basis, and this is an endemic problem in every town and city and village in our state. And the challenge is trying to determine between the people who are genuinely houseless, homeless, and the people who are just kind of riding on the thin line of what is legal and what is illegal, and getting away with living at no cost, and how you differentiate between those two. But what drives me is that as a person of faith, I feel morally and ethically responsible to deal with people who are genuinely homeless. I feel like it's a part of my responsibility as a citizen and as a human being to try to find a way to help people find security and safety and in a home or in some kind of shelter. So I know a lot of us have dedicated ourselves to trying to figure this out. I wish that I had a nice little package of solutions that we could implement today and it would just solve the problem. It's not going to be that easy, unfortunately. I know private citizens right now in our city who are working on really game-changing alternatives to this problem. I know not-for-profit organizations that are working together. Several of them sit on the task force that Tita is leading, that are trying to figure out how together we can work to begin to really identify people who are genuinely homeless, who really want to be helped and to find help. Organizations like the CCA are helping. Mental health issues are a part of what's driving this in many ways. So, I just want to say again, we are doing everything we know to do. And we need everybody to come around and really help us to find the solutions. Right now, we're dealing with state law that's coming down. Have you read House Bill 3115? That basically says that as a city, we need to provide places for people to lie, sleep, and camp within our jurisdiction. If we do not do that, or are not able to do that, then, as I understand this, they are permitted to lie, sleep, camp on any public property in our city. That is truly a challenge, and I have to say, in my opinion, this legislation was pointed toward the metropolitan area of Portland. They've got a huge problem, much bigger than ours, but it doesn't work for us here. So I just want to say I'm not, as Tita has said, I'm not insensitive to this problem. It keeps me awake at night. I've tried to live my life. I've worked with the Helping Hands reentry programs now for 12 years. And this is one group in our community that is really doing something about helping people who really want to come out of addiction, out of imprisonment, all the things that have drugged them down, and help them re-enter into society. I'm doing that. And I will continue to work on this problem. This has been a heavy meeting. Can I end it with a funny story? Are you up to that? This is a confession that I'm going to make to you, and the reason that I'm doing it is that my wife is telling everybody in town this story, so I might as well get it out. Chief Daniels, one of the things that the fire department is doing that we really appreciate, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you're providing a dumpster on the east side of the fire department for people, private citizens, to be able to come and dispose of their yard debris. It's a wonderful service, and I've been using it regularly. Well, a couple, 3 weeks ago, I went over with some yard debris, and I had one of my wife's really nice yard debris collectors, kind of a red thing. It was heavy, and it was early in the morning. Not many people had been there, and I was lifting that up, and I put it over like that, and I lost my grip, and the whole thing went in the dumpster. I thought, oh, what am I going to do now? Well, you know what I did.
Oh my gosh,
Is that
dumpster diving.
I jumped down in the dumpster to retrieve that because I knew I would be in trouble. And I threw it back out, and then I figured out I can't get out of here. I'm trapped in this dumpster. And I thought, well, I could call Joy over at the fire department and say, but I did not want to do that. And I didn't want to call RJ because I could see the headlines in the Seaside Signal, Mayor caught dumpster diving. But what I was able to do is collect the debris that was in there, pile it up, keep piling it up, and finally I was able, as this old man, to pull myself up out of the dumpster, and I was sore for 3 days doing something that I wasn't able to do. So the message is, dump your yard debris, but don't put yourself in the dumpster. With that, we're adjourned.
Adjourn 8 o'clock.
Well done, Mayor.
Let him out the old.
You'd be able to get out